celluloid, and we're turning it into music and podcast for you.
Welcome everyone to another fantastic episode of We Came From Celluloid. I am Nicky P here as always with the illustrious Mr. Brian Pritchard. However, today we are joined with the, I believe, two frontmen from the band Masterhand. How are we doing today, gentlemen?
Good, man. How are you?
It is a Wednesday morning. I'm awake and doing things, so terrible.
Okay, great.
Me too. Hello.
So I guess I'll start out by, somehow he managed to get thrown on a show. Brian sends me a link last week and says, hey, these guys are looking for something. Like, they write Nintendo songs. That sounds like great nostalgia bait, just like us. We should know them anyways. And a week later, boom, apparently it's happening. We're playing out at the Cove nightclub in Geneva on the Lake. I haven't played there in a hot minute. I remember about a decade ago, I had a bunch of weird nights in that place. So I'm kind of curious to see if those weird nights will continue into my 40s now.
That's so you like hung out at the Cove like as just an artist, or did you like visit there just to hang out?
I played a fair number. In fact, I auditioned for a band on the stage that we're going to be playing at the Cove.
That's bizarre.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Like we're playing the side stage, the little one, and I'm like, I auditioned for a band called the Bentries back in like 2006, I think.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's 20 years ago. Yeah, wow.
That's terrifying.
Especially, one member of that band ended up going on to be my daughter's godfather. But yeah, I was in a band called Uptight Sugar at that point in time, and like was having trouble with the lead singer as a bass player, and so these guys were like just more fun, and they asked me, hey, you want to come out and like audition for the band? I'm like, sure. Like, well, how you would mind just coming out for this show? And I'm like, sure, why not? Just send me the songs, I'll figure it out.
So it was like there were people there. You were auditioning in front of a crowd. That's terrifying.
Oh yeah, no, literally. It was actually pretty packed that night too.
It was a show.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That wasn't clear. No.
Did you join the band?
I was in the band until I got my drummer from the other band to join that band, and then he got me kicked out by lying.
Oh no!
Believe it or not, I'm still friends with said drummer to this day.
Oh, okay.
That's incredible.
You just got to learn what you can expect out of people, unfortunately.
Well, okay, I need to know more anything about this, like any part of it.
Well, this isn't a show about me, so I'm gonna back up here and say, guys, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how this project started?
Sure. So this started in 2014. We actually might have started before that, Rick. I mean, we released our first album in 2014, but I think we got together in 2013.
2024. Excuse me.
You know, that would be the correct year.
I panicked. I was like, oh God, how old am I?
A decade?
My God. We need more albums.
That third number in the year doesn't really matter to me. It was 2003 or 2013 or 2023 when we got together. No, it was 2023. A friend of mine, Marky, who is the bassist in the band, reached out to me. And he said, hey, I got, I'm doing a super group. I've got some really talented people together. He had a guitarist who's somebody he knew from the local music scene in like the Youngstown, Pittsburgh area. And our other mutual friend, Tom, who's this genius drummer from Cleveland, who I don't think has really ever been in a band. He just does like session music at like jazz clubs and stuff. Do you know if that's right, Rick?
That sounds like something he said.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like he's mentioned a band, but I don't know if you ever gave any names or anything.
Okay, all right. Yeah, and he was recruiting me. I was part of a I am still in a hip hop comedy duo and that I've been in since like 2010, and he was like, "Hey, you're a good rapper. Do you want to join this band? We're doing like rap rock new metal Limp Bizkit style songs." And I was like, "Sure, it sounds great." And he said, "Do you know anybody who sings?" And Rick is my buddy who I kind of know through the music scene as well, I guess, in a very tertiary way.
Fan of the other band.
Fan of the other band.
Excuse me.
And we go, yeah. Karaoke is how I know your voice, I guess. But you were in other local bands too. Sanctify, being the biggest one, yeah.
And I briefly, the first band I was technically in was Family Riot was looking for a replacement singer, and I tried out, and that's how I kind of met some of the Cleveland people, was through Joe Petridge and all that.
There's that little link to us, is that Family Riot link,
yep.
Right?
I may have listened to that episode last night, and I was like, I have something to talk about. Great. I tried out for them, and then shortly after they broke up, I found some people in Akron. But I met Saker through his other group, and we were at a convention, and Marky's brother had mentioned putting together a band to you, and the whole time I was kind of in the background going, "Oh, new metal band about video games. That sounds fun, guys."
I like those things.
And then a couple weeks later, you're like, "Hey, do you want to be in a band?" And I was like, "More than anything, yes, please."
It's like Cosgrove talking to Freakazoid. You want to go see a bear on a bicycle? Of course I do. But yeah, and then we basically, there was a year where we wrote and like half recorded songs, and I was just like, this is a fun idea. None of these things are ever coming out, are they? No, we're not really a band. And then in like 2 months, it all came together. We played our first show in August of 2024. And that was the first time I ever met the guitarist for the band, was at our first show.
Yeah.
Because we did everything, we're doing it Postal Service style, where we just kind of do everything separately and send it away. And our guitarist, Jordan, who is truly we don't need a band.
Ridiculous.
He could do all 5 parts by himself. And he mixed it all together, and that was our first self-titled album. And that's the history of the band, I guess.
Oh, so the Bessie Fest event that we're doing, after, Rick had made the post, I'd raised my hand. He was like, "Yep, you'd connected me to the guy that actually books at the Cove and runs sound and stuff." And when I talked to him, he was sort of going, "This is the 2nd annual Bessie Fest. Masterhand was the breakout star of round 1, right?" He was talking about how his girlfriend, and you can imagine this, if the guy's like the booking and sound guy at the Cove, he's like, I drag her along to everything that we do, and she's super picky about what she gets into. She's like, by the end of their set, she had Masterhand pulled up on Spotify. She was into it. She's been listening to him ever since. So he certainly built you guys up in a big way. Did I also see that you guys have, in this amount of time, already gone on the road as well? You already did like a touring run?
We did in late June, early July. We did our first 1-week tour, and 5 cities. So real short, but it was really fun.
Yeah, I saw that Puma Thurman, you also went in the exact opposite direction that we did. I believe the exact same week for the tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm also just sitting there going like, so you became a band like 2 years ago, and then album out, breakout stars of the Bessie Fest, and touring act. Like that's some pretty sweet benchmarks of success in relatively short time, guys.
Let's give ourselves. They knew kind of, I think, from day one what the hell they were. There's always we can't even decide on our lineup necessarily from week to week, because it depends who's available.
Yeah. No, we in regards to both of those, it just feels like skill, of course, but a lot of luck too. For our tour, we were like, because all 5 of us have always wanted to tour. And so there were, we were just like, let's just fucking do it. Like, let's go. Yeah. You say like, that's a mark of success. I mean, we lost a lot of money. It was not successful, but like no tour ever is successful.
Look, I'm
right?
still paying our guitar player back for the next couple months on our.
That's what I'm saying.
I get it.
Yeah, but like Marky, our bassist, and the front man of the band, or the leader of the band, I guess, we're the front men. But he was like, yeah, I'm going to ask this other person I know to go on tour with us, Lex, the Lexicon artist, who is a like incredible nerdcore hip hop person.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I would gladly go. And then she was like, we were like, can we get your friend who's he's one of the like the benchmarks of the genre, Schaefer the Dark Lord. We were like, can he open for us in New York? And she was like, I'll just ask him. I think he can do the whole tour with us. So we went on tour with like two of the nerdcore legends, which is unreal, like straight off the bat for us. The only bad part of that is that it was our tour, so we headlined every night. So we would have these packed rooms who would come out because of these legends, and then after the two legends played, they would leave, and we were the headliner. So we would play to an empty room afterwards. But it was a blast. We had a great time.
There was one show in particular where it was so hot out with no AC that in between every set, everyone would clear the room to go outside and cool off. So we got to see how many people came back in for our set. And it was like, quartered.
Every time, yeah.
And you guys wear costumes too, yeah?
We do. We dress up as Smash Brothers characters. So yeah, I'm wearing a full Donkey Kong costume the whole time.
You have the costume.
Unfortunately, yeah. And yeah, this was during
one.
that heat wave in late June, early July. So we're playing a punk venue in Pittsburgh. It's like 100 degrees. There's no AC. Just nightmare. I'm wearing a Donkey Kong costume. Yeah.
I mean, I feel I wear robes for all of our shows. I'm not exactly on costume. and yes, we were going the opposite direction, but it was definitely a bunch of punk bars in a bunch of weird cities.
Yeah. That's fun. That's the first time we've ever toured. Have you guys done more than one tour?
Guys, I'm totally prepared to team up and lose money with you guys next summer. So we should
Summer Blockbuster Tour Part 2 needs to happen. Let's do it.
It's the 90s living room tour. You know what I'm saying? It's like bring your fucking beanbag chairs. It's video
ever
games.
toured with a church before?
And VHS. Yeah.
VHS, yeah.
So I'm kind of curious as far as like, how aware are you guys of the space? Obviously, you're talking like the nerdcore hip hop side of things, but like the video game band, quote, so to speak, like obviously there's big bands like Power Glove and the Protomen. Where do you guys kind of fall into that scene, do you think, ultimately? Or like, what is the goal?
Well, it's interesting because there is kind of, I wouldn't call it a schism, but there's like a dichotomy in the scene, right? Between VGM and nerdcore. And VGM would be video game music, and that's like the Power Glove side, where they're playing like direct covers of video game music. Power Glove, Bit Brigade, things like that. And then there's stuff like the Protomen, who are video game inspired, right? They're writing all songs about Mega Man, but they're not playing Mega Man music.
Brian, just so in case you're aware, you've never listened to these guys. They're
dude, I know.
amazing.
I love The Advantage is a band I love. I love Power Glove. I'm tracking you.
What I'm saying is Protomen in particular, man. They have like an alternate history of Mega Man as like their backstory, and their songs are all like operatic and amazing. And like if Queen was still around, they'd be putting their money on Protomen. Absolutely.
And in fact,
live shows
Protomen did a whole Queen cover album. So yeah, they're 1-1. Yeah, exactly. And the Protomen specifically are like, because they released like Act 1, that was their first album, and they were like this little band out of Nashville. And then like 2 years later, they released Act 2, which was the biggest thing that the scene had ever seen. And then they went, I think, 15 years.
Last year they did Act 3.
It's coming. Yeah, and they finally, so it was a huge event.
And their story is a little suspicious in that like they actually started as a bunch of people that met in recording school, essentially. And it was like their thesis project was Act 1.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Wow,
that's interesting.
No.
And then I don't think everybody who was involved on like Act 1 stuck around, but like enough of the people stuck around that it became a thing and grew into like an actual band. Well, I'm always amused. It's like everyone thinks of Gwar as being a band when Gwar is more of an art collective of a whole bunch of people. Like they just are into the idea of Gwar. And like what you see on stage is like this tiny spearhead of like a whole big thing.
Oh, sure. Well, it's the more, right? Like Protomen, at one point, they were like a 12-person band. You're never going to retain that many people on a stage. Yeah. Like, we have trouble with 5 people. I had trouble in my duo that I was in planning shows and shit, right?
What, like, from the photos, it looked like a 7-piece or something like that. I mean, there were a lot of people on stage.
Yeah, we have 5 people.
Okay.
Yeah, we just bass, drums, guitar, and then us two. And then we are a 6-person band because we consider our hype man, who's our photographer. He does all our social media, but he gets an equal cut. He just doesn't wear a costume.
They're
does more work than all of us. But
He
yeah,
100% does. Yeah.
It's wild.
So buy him a toad hat. You know what I mean? Get him a little
honestly,
toad cap. And
that has been suggested many times. We have to do that.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Little mess.
But anyway, we're on the Protomen side more than we're on the Power Glove side, right? So we're playing songs about video games that aren't video game music necessarily.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. No, and we're the same way. You know, it's funny, like there's one specific song that comes to mind where occasionally I'll write something and I'll write a riff and be thinking about, like, it's not an intentional thing of going like, ooh, I want to write something inspired by this. But like sometimes there'll be a melody where I'm like, damn, does this already exist somewhere in the world? But like there's a song of ours that we call Beetlejuice. As like the rough draft name, but it's not. Even in a movie themed band, the finished song is not about Beetlejuice. It's about a John Waters, Johnny Knoxville movie called A Dirty Shame. But it's called Beetlejuice because the main A riff reminded me of that theme, that dun 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 bum 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 bum. Like it's got that vibe crossed with there's
Adventures Walk Don't Run.
There's a Martin Scorsese movie called After Hours from like 1985, and it's got a very simple like synthesizer theme that goes through it, which is this boom ba boom ba dun 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 dun. And that like melody like sort of drawn out, and it is the mashup of those two themes that created at least the melody foundation for the song Beetlejuice. But then Nick didn't write the lyrics about Beetlejuice. He wrote it about, you know, A Dirty Shame. But
what it ended up being was just the riff was too sexy, and I needed a sexy movie to write it about.
Beetlejuice not sexy enough for you?
Pretty sexy. Johnny Knoxville playing a sex apostle.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
You title it based on the vibe of the music, and then the lyrics come afterwards.
I mean, eventually the title catches up. Like it's officially Ray Ray's full service now. But
okay.
But yeah, no, we were talking today, like the way songs kind of get created, and like where they started, which ones end up becoming songs, or which ones just kind of sit on the back shelf until the right moment. That was one that never sat on a shelf. That one was immediately like, oh, I cannot wait to run with this, and immediately had it. And what's funny is that like I actually was going through over the weekend, Brian, listening to the original vocals for that song. And while they're a little bit different, I'm surprised by how remarkably the same they are. Like, I went into that song and immediately knew what the hell I wanted to do with it vocally. And it pretty much stayed the same throughout the entire course of that song.
Yeah, the initial reaction. That's to me, we were talking about like what stuff rises to the surface fastest. And to me, it is the things that you just react to where it feels like sometimes like it's fully formed. I'm sure you've had that experience of it sounds like you've got this one maybe main musical, you know, driving force. But so you guys as the lyricist frontmen of the group, you're hearing pieces of music, right? That I'm assuming don't necessarily have a predetermined video game corollary theme. So how do you two, is it a you know, are you the man with two brains? Does one or the other suggest something? How do you volley that stuff back and forth?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it was really different for the first album than it was for this one. Because the first album, you know, with that freshman effort, like these guys who are, I said it 100 times already, unbelievably talented musicians, and they had these like these sketches sitting on their hard drive for a million years now of just like, here's a song. I don't know what this song is, but like, do you guys want to do something with it? And we were like, oh, that's a song about Bubble Bobble. Like, this is not even a question. Like, we can just do that. But now with the second album, it's been a lot more, I think, of people coming to the table with kind of sketched out ideas of like, here's what I have, and I think this is, you know, about Silent Hill, or I think this is about whatever. And so we've kind of run with that. But I don't know. I think there's still a lot of. It's usually one of us has the idea, and we can get the other folks on board with it, right, Rick? Would you say that's about right?
One of you two coming up with a lyrical concept and bringing it to the musicians to write a musical bed. Is that what you mean? I
think we can do it both ways, because like Marky has come up with like, because he also is, I mean, he's been in bands before and has done lyrics for them. So he'll come to us and be like, here's a song I want to do. This song is called Life versus Gamer. Here's some example lyrics, but here's what it's going to sound like. Can you guys refine these? Or in my case, I just totally rewrote them. And, but he came, so we're each coming with ideas to the table, I think. And then just sort of sketching it out from there.
Yeah. And often I'd say you write the lyrics a lot faster than I do. And then I'm like, so you're like, here's this, this, and this. I was like, cool, I'll fill in the blanks. And I, this has been a different project for me because I've been trying to write catchier stuff than I would in my previous band, which is more like prog metal. So it's been fun to find the melodies first and then kind of like stitch together words that sound good with those melodies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which has been fun.
Criminal to say that prog metal can't be catchy. How dare you?
What I'm going to ask the question is, because I know it's been kind of like one of the longest parts of Puma Thurman is certainly finding the identity of like, I mean, what it is. I think for me, just finding my identity as a vocalist for our band has like really only come into fruition in like the past couple years. We existed for a decade where it kind of didn't really know what the hell to do with it or what to call us. Like, ostensibly because of how I met Brian, we started out, I guess, as a metal band, but like we never really were a metal band. And I felt like maybe I was trying to force myself into that mold as a vocalist. And then eventually one day I just kind of gave up on that.
Yeah.
and started creating what we call the Puma voice.
Mm-hmm.
and I guess ever since settling into that, like, oh, it's way easier to kind of let these songs be what they're going to be. Now, given obviously you guys have background in different things, like, do you have any struggle with that? Finding like, certainly when you're dealing with like, we'll say something that is kind of by definition sideshow, you know?
Yeah.
There's a level of seriousness you kind of you have to accept or kind of discard.
Mm-hmm.
And you exist. It's like you're Schrödinger kind of thing where you exist as, yes, we're a comedy act, but no, we're not a comedy act. And I mean, how has that line been for you guys?
I think it's different for me than the rest of the band, because the rest of the band were always in serious projects. Mm-hmm. I have always been just goofball, like silly bands, right? Mm-hmm. And to top it off, my secret shame is that I've never really been into nu metal or rap rock. So they were like, do you want to be in this nu metal band? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do exactly the same thing that I was doing before. Is that okay? And they were like, yeah, sure, that's fine. It's just been... So I haven't changed a single thing about my workflow or my voice, or like I'm still kind of doing the same thing I do in 2D6, right, Rick? Like
yeah, it works very well. I've always wanted to be in a comedy adjacent or comedy band and just like have fun. And this is, even though a lot of my stuff is serious, I feel like it's almost a joke how it compares to your stuff. Where it's like I'm playing it serious, but it's still goofy in general.
I think the interplay is fun too, because I don't think it's always possible to milk a lot of comedy out of the choruses, because you don't have a lot of room to breathe in those, and you're trying to be catchy. So a lot of the time it's your sort of the gravity of the song and then in juxtaposition to my sort of whatever goofy, bouncy sort of lyrics. And I know that oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say there were a couple people with I believe it was Weak Point, the song in particular, where when we first put it out, people were like, I don't know about the contrast, like they weren't feeling, and then like within a month they're like, I love this song so much. It felt great. So like, yeah, we got him.
Yeah. And I think it's especially hard for folks like Jordan who have not really, like, he's only played serious music ever, and he's like, we were talking to him over tour, and he's like, yeah, I don't really play video games. So he's totally on the outside of this. So for him, I don't know even how it hits, but he's, I mean, he gets it done. So I think it is kind of a challenge to meld those things together, but I am surprised at how quickly we did all come together, considering the first time we met was the first show.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but it
well,
works.
And I like the idea that sometimes there can be, you can be serious and emotional, and that's where the humor can come from, right? That the delivery can be sincere, but the joke is there for the people who get the joke. You know what I mean? That if somebody's catching the references, then that can be what is funny about it, is like being so emotionally invested in something lightweight, or you know what I mean, vice versa. That's always been part of the fun, is like, it's one thing to take a movie or a video game and make the decision like, we're going to write about Silent Hill. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you could be surface level and be like, you say Silent Hill and it's like, let's go spooky, let's go this, let's go that. But it's like, it doesn't have to be that, I start thinking about even part of what was fun with, like a movie like Clerks, what Kevin Smith and Tarantino were doing, where they were bringing pop culture conversation into the movies and sitting there and talking about like the construction workers that worked on the Death Star. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Like that sort of concept of going, where is there a way into this material? Where can we take a side door into, fucking Toad's vest? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, where's the minutia?
And it's played so seriously that's the comedy in itself. Is
I mean, I think our second album is almost done at this point, and the heaviest song on it is that Bubble Bobble song, which has jokes in the lyrics, but the idea that there is a heavy song about Bubble Bobble in itself is kind of the joke too. Yeah, exactly what you're saying. Right.
And Boina's Blob from the last album is me just screaming boing boing boing, I'm a blob as the chorus, and it's the heaviest song on that album.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
So just because we have you here and what our passion is, I'll ask the question. So where do you guys fall on the movie spectrum? What's your poison when it comes to that?
Sure. Well, Rick and I get together at least once a month and do horror movies together. Because us two and another friend of ours are the only three in our friends group who like horror movies. So we're always kind of down on the new horror stuff. So that's definitely one of our jams. I think besides for that, I will kind of watch whatever. Comedy is my go-to for the most part. But I keep an intensely detailed list of all the movies I watch in a year, and I rank them all.
So doesn't Brian.
Okay, all right. Yeah, what would you say yours is, Rick?
Mine is, it used to be comedy and horror back in the day, but I feel like I'm not watching as much comedy. I honestly don't watch a lot of movies unless it's with other people. So I'm usually playing a video game or listening to a podcast at the same time. But yeah, it has almost be, when I do sit down and watch, it's usually a horror movie. I'm a big fan of like splatter flicks and all that, which I don't think I know anyone that is really into that as well. So that's more of like, I'm going to watch this for myself because I know no one else is going to want to watch it with me.
Right. Yeah.
So that's about it. But it's very rare that I really get a chance to.
Like I think both of our top fives this year, I'm looking at my top fives right now that I've watched, and like Obsession and Hokum were killer this year. Like so good. Yeah, this is a great year. This is a banner year for
They're on my list. On my long list.
Yeah.
Hokum is the best Silent Hill movie I saw this year.
100%. As a big Silent Hill fan, they've never made a better one. Yeah.
Oh, now you got me even more excited for Hokum. I didn't think that was possible.
Oh yeah, it's great.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
Funny, oddly enough, that's not even a name that's like on my radar, and I feel like I pay attention.
What was the guy's movie beforehand? Was it Oddity that he did?
Oh,
I
Oddity.
loved.
Yes.
Oddity was great.
I still want to see Caveat, which is the one he did before Oddity, and I heard that was really interesting as well.
Caveat is interesting. I don't know that I liked it as much as Oddity.
Gotcha.
There's, I don't know. It's cool. It's interesting, but you can tell like they weren't quite there yet as a creator. They needed a little bit more time to gestate, I guess is how I felt about it. And it kind of sucked is that I watched Oddity and then went back to Caveat.
Oh.
And kind of watched in reverse order. And it's like, oh man, that one was so awesome. Like, but I know what you're capable of, and this wasn't what you're capable of.
That's how I feel about Oz Perkins. Because I feel like Longlegs divisive movie, but I fell on the side where I loved it. And then everything I've seen from him since, I was like, I know what you're capable of, man. Why can't you just make Longlegs again somehow?
So
I don't know.
I'll ask the question. Like, explain to me, what is the draw of Longlegs? Like, I have not watched it. Like,
okay,
and I feel like when I saw the first couple trailers, I feel like I was really interested, and then at some point it just looked stupid. Like it crossed the Rubicon where I'm like, I just no longer want to watch this movie, and I don't know why.
And I think that is like you're either going to. So I think the draw is it's really heavily grounded detective horror story, right? Mm-hmm. And then in Act 3, you go off the fucking rails, right?
Yeah.
And at that point, you either buy in and you're like, I love how insane this has become, or you're like, I'm not there with you, right?
So kind of like The Substance, and that like where you've got 3/4 of the movie is this beautiful think piece about women in Hollywood, and then the last quarter of the movie is just trauma.
Eliza Sue. Yeah, exactly.
Eliza Sue.
Eliza Sue.
I didn't love Longlegs. The Substance worked for me top to bottom. Longlegs, sort of as you described, at a certain point, I was just like, nah. I'm like, the first chunk of this, was working for me in a way, but sometimes I sort of note with interest when a movie when the main thing I'm feeling is how much I want to watch another movie, right? Like the main thing I was feeling watching the first hour of Longlegs was going like, damn, I've got to watch Silence of the Lambs again. I fucking love Silence of the Lambs. That movie's good, you know?
Yep.
Admittedly, I've never seen Silence of the Lambs, and maybe that's why I liked Longlegs, because it's been compared so much, and maybe I'll go back and watch, or when I see Silence, I'll be like, oh, Longlegs wasn't that good.
Yeah, I think
it's funny because that can happen with music and stuff too, right? Where like people will be like, explaining all the bands that inspired a band that I love, and I don't necessarily know those ones, and it's just like, well, whatever. That may be true, maybe it's not. I love this thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
there's a comedian who had a bit about he grew up seeing Spaceballs before Star Wars, and then when he saw Star Wars, he's like, this is just unfunny Spaceballs. This sucks.
Yeah, it's whatever you start with, right? Like some people's favorite Weezer album is like Ratitude, because they're like, so what are you doing, right? But it's like it's whatever. When you were a kid and you watched a thing or you listened to a thing, and that becomes your thing, and then like everything before or after is like, it's fine. But
I've actually been there's a guy on Instagram I've been watching. He's doing a recap of everything that Weezer's put out since like 2000. Yeah, and it's been an interesting journey because like, well, I kept up with them until Ratitude. At Ratitude, I'm like, look, guys, I don't know what you're doing now, but it's certainly not for me, and I'm going to not be buying these further.
I stream them all from now on. I'm not buying their albums anymore, but I'm always checking in like what are you doing?
Not like they're all terrible. Like what I find is they'll put like one song on every album that's like, gives me hope that maybe old Weezer is back, and that nothing else on the album is any good.
Yep.
You could still be doing this. Why are you not doing that?
Why do you just not make more of this? Stop hanging out with Lil Wayne and do shit that I like.
Yeah, it's hard. All those legacy. I am a huge. Okay, deep breath. I'm a huge Barenaked Ladies fan.
Stephen Page is one of my vocal heroes, man.
Well, that's all the time we had for today. Thank you so much.
It's been a good time.
But I was a Barenaked Ladies fan until 2009, right? And then when the split happened, right? Stephen Page is still releasing unbelievable, heartfelt, thoughtful, like fantastic music. And Barenaked Ladies are just releasing shit after shit. And
Well, I mean, it was very clear that Stephen Page was like the driving talent in that band.
Yeah. And it's bizarre because I always thought like, well, they're both really good lyricists, Ed and Steve.
Yeah.
Ed was coasted because all of his songs now are about we're a band. We've been a band for 30 years. And boy, is it hard to be a band. And it's like he has no imagination for like imagining anything than what's in front of him.
Well, it's like him without Steve just doesn't fucking work.
Yeah. Here's another
loving life.
I'm loving life.
I'm curious, what is your favorite Barenaked Ladies album?
My favorite Barenaked Ladies album is probably Maroon. That's a fantastic one. That was the follow-up to Stunt. Yeah. I have a next Shameful Admission. If you're interested in listening to my 250 episode Barenaked Ladies podcast,
I'm in. Me and my wife will start tonight.
Great. It's all been done. You can check it out on all the major podcatchers.
It's a lot of fun.
If I have to label it, I'm going with like was it the first one self-titled? It's the one with the Pepsi logo on it.
Gordon.
That's what it is. Gordon.
Yep, that's a fantastic album.
Enid, maybe one of the funniest things ever written, and
so good. Yeah. That album is banger after banger. Honestly,
what's funny is like unless you're from Canada, the only thing anybody knows from that is the If I Had $1 Million,
right?
But like that album was just so good front to back, like the King of Bedside Manor.
I love that song.
Box Set hilarious. Might be one of my favorite songs ever written, and
it's incredible.
It's another one of those things where like if you look at it on the surface, there's a lot of funny stuff going on. But one of the things I always like to try and do, probably because of listening to the song, is like I like to try and find like the universal element of what we're really talking about in the funny song.
Mm-hmm.
You know, New Kid on the Block, sure, it's a song about the new kids on the block and what it would be like to be one of them. But like he does get into like the weird elements of like you don't ever get to grow up. You're kind of like a lost boy in the world. And you know, like who you are depends on how you relate to somebody else. That somebody knows, like, you know, I hate you because my daughter loves you, and that's all that matters in the world. That kind of shit.
Yeah, and that element of curiosity is gone nowadays.
Yeah. It's well, I never run across a BNL
Jurassic
fan,
Park song to me, right? Like, you know, back to that idea of the way into a thing. What you ended up writing about Jurassic Park, from the writing prompt, right, was to sit there and go, what's our take on Jurassic Park? I want to look at, you know, the Dr. Grant character's reluctance to have a family. You really turned that into something like universal and poignant. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
And velociraptors.
Exactly. But you know, we always like to, especially when we interview musical guests, have like a song or something that we play out. You know what I mean on the episode. So I'm curious, and you'll have to email it to us after the fact. But is there a song of yours that you guys would let us share at the end of the episode? And will you know, tell listeners about that song? What would be a song that you could share, and how do you want to set it up?
Rick, do you have a thought here?
I was thinking roguelike or weak point. What do you think? Do you have any?
Well, my thought was Funny Money or Weak Point. Do you want to do Funny Money?
Yeah, I'm always down. That's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Funny Money, we'll email it to you. Actually, it's funny because Funny Money is one of the only songs on that first album that's not about video games. It's about a board game. That's a song about Monopoly. And so I think the genesis of that was just Marky came to us with the idea he came to us with the chorus. He came to us with here's a riff I have, and I think it goes, don't be a fuddy duddy playing with your funny money. And we were like, great, we can work with that.
Perfect.
And we kind of turned it into kind of like you do with taking this idea and kind of flipping it into how can we make this into something that's bigger than itself. Is Funny Money's kind of our song about capitalism, which is like how terrible the world
I'm going
is.
to have plenty of thoughts on this one after release a companion episode.
But yeah, and it's also our Rage Against the Machine riff, where we do kind of we have like the third verse is not really a verse. It's just me live. We have a megaphone mic where it just has the thing built into it where it sounds like I'm, a low filter. Just screaming about the people who are oppressed in the world right now. I think that one is a really fun one for people to get started with, and I think it's also accessible even if you don't play video games.
It's a lot of fun.
Played Monopoly. Yeah, it is a lot of fun.
I haven't played a video game since Civilization 4.
Oh goddamn!
I still love the Protomen.
There you go. Yeah. It's possible to like them even without. You can like
Absolutely.
our music. You don't have to play video games. It's fine. Yeah.
I mean, their videos and story are so compelling. I could care less what they're about, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as long as you're having fun.
Yeah.
Well, I cannot wait to actually, be in that venue and see what you guys do. I think anyone who's at that show is frankly in for a treat, because if we're playing one of the small stages and you guys are up on the big stage, I know if everything's kind of in between what we do as far as quality, we should have a killer show. Like they're
I'm
getting
super excited to see you
A+
guys.
talent across the board, man.
Yeah, we're so psyched. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's
Well,
gonna be
thank you
fun.
guys for I'm grateful that you posted on Facebook. Rick, I know we've run into each other through our mutual affinity for the many Joe Petrich projects over the years, and
it was on Friday. I saw him in Columbus and Ironworm, and I talked to him before, but he was like, "Hey, that show you're talking about, we might be interested." And so I was like, "Let me get you a contact real quick." So yeah, they're playing as well.
I know. I'm excited. We're all going to be sharing stage time, and so yeah, it'll be a great day for hanging out, musical camaraderie, and it'll be fun. So I appreciate you guys hanging and chatting with us.
Oh, thanks for having. This is actually my very first ever podcast I've been on, so it's really exciting.
Wow.
Also, before I forget, when I was trying out for Family Riot and I was previously in there, they're like, "Hey, we're writing this song called Mr. Pritchard." And I was like, "Who is that?" And we worked on the song. I was like, "This song is amazing." And then I got to meet you afterwards, and it was a delight.
For the record, he is a Mr. Pritchard, just for the record.
That's true. No, I remember it well. I got to play their CD release show after Todd had passed, and they had Nick Rizzo fill in on drums as well. But anyway, during that song, they all had masks of my face, and it was
that's right.
It was really creepy.
That's so good.
I forgot we played that show as well. No, I'm sorry. Was it also the benefit for Todd? Was that also the CD release?
I don't remember if there was a fundraising component. I have the show recorded, which I'm grateful for, and I remember that it was at the Hi-Fi Foundry spot. But
Yes.
I don't remember if it was also a benefit show.
I believe we also played that show with. I think that might have been where we met. Now I think about it, because Sanctify was like we were the second or first band up that night.
Well, it's cool when roads continue to come apart, come together, and this is gonna be good times. I just spent my first week or not weekend, but hung out in Geneva on the lake just as a visiting spectator. It's kind of a fun little town,
It's that whole strip's nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, Sunday, August 23rd. We're excited.
Be there.
All
All right. Well, hey, thanks, guys.
Yeah, have a good night.
Isn't it the principle of private ownership of property?
Yes, it is. This principle of private ownership is undoubtedly the most fundamental element in the structure of American capitalism.
Hooray! Let's throw a soiree for the conviction that landlords are neat. They don't deserve the crucifixion that they get in the media. They're really quite resourceful. Taking cash from people working hard, that's totally normal. That's not weird, that's cool, that's neat, bro. If you argue differently, I wish that you would eat crow. You know D&D though? Yeah, cause who doesn't? Consider this, what if we engage in a role-playing cousins to that system? Except we all lease property, and if you hit poverty, you just sit solidly in the corner while the millionaires eat truffles. No trouble, taking luxury yachts to Brussels or release down to Park Place, avoiding a dark fate by being a major shareholder at Barclays. It never hurts to be best buddies with a banker, an extra 500, thank you.
Call me the tax man when it's time to pay. Pass go when you know it's time to celebrate. Don't be a funny, dirty play with the 40 money. Stacks upon my train tracks. These bars can't relax. You feel the bill. Oh, good God, I'm seeing green. Don't be a funny, dirty play with the 40 money.
Down to the 20, you think it's funny? I got no money. I'm slumming it out in the country. Like way out there in the motherfucking booties, like me and Chuck Bronson, BFF's rubies. Both from the Baltics, brown is the best. Property adjacent to community chest. Property adjacent to a ride on the Reading. Around Masterhand, his hometown of jet setting. Past the perhaps pretty problematic place names out of Pennsylvania and Pacific, where what they claim. It's such a great game, wherein the main aim is to cause shame via bankruptcy. I know, it's serious, morrissey. Gotta make my cash back, hotel touristy. This ain't no co-op, to put it in context. Look at this face, second place beauty contest.
Call me the tax man when it's time to pay. Pass go when you know it's time to celebrate. Don't be a funny, dirty play with the 40 money. Stacks upon my train tracks. These bars can't relax. You feel the bill. Oh, good God, I'm seeing green. Don't be a funny, dirty play with the 40 money.
This song is for all the people who get put down every day by capitalism and the fat cats up in the hills with their mansions. No longer will the Mediterranean avenues bow to the boardwalk. No longer will the thimble play second fiddle to the Scotty dog. We as a people will rise up. We will overthrow this system and overthrow the status quo and throw the whole fucking board off the table.
Call me the tax man when it's time to pay. Pass go when you know it's time to celebrate. Don't be a funny, dirty play with the 40 money. Stacks upon my train tracks. These bars can't relax. You feel the bill. Oh, good God, I'm seeing green. Don't be a funny, dirty play with the 40 money. Don't be a funny, dirty play with the fake money. Don't be a funny, dirty play with the fake money. Don't be a funny, dirty play with the fake money. Don't be a dirty
And we're turning it into music and podcast for you.